Hey, it's 100 Domathan here. I haven't done a video in a while, so welcome to this video of Honduras corruption profiles. This video will be about outgoing president of Honduras, Juan Orlando Hernandez. I decided to make this video since he'll be exiting office in 2022, and so much more evidence has come out against him from US Federal Prosecutors about his role in drug trafficking and money laundering and corruption, and so many more bad things that happened in Honduras, such as the two hurricanes in November, Hurricanes Eta and Lota, and much more. Honduran caravans have been in the news, thousands of Hondurans leaving their country. I find it's time to discuss, the root causes of this more, and let's talk about the corruption and terrible rule of Juan Orlando Hernandez.
I'm probably one of the few people in English-speaking videos to even cover these topics. There's lots of videos on Juan Orlando Hernandez and Honduras in Spanish-speaking media, but not so much in English-speaking media. And I'm hoping that more Americans watch these videos and become educated, since their news really doesn't talk about the terrible leadership of Honduras and its corruption and how it plays a part with all this immigration coming from Central America. So Juan Orlando Hernandez was born in the Gracias department of Honduras in the year 1968, and he was born to a very poor family. His two parents ended up having 17 children. Juan Orlando Hernandez is one of 17 children, and they grew up in poverty. Eventually, Juan Orlando Hernandez was able to go to university, where he studied law, and he ended up becoming a lawyer. He got a master's degree in law and became a lawyer. He was a lawyer until he went into politics in the year 2001. In the year 2001, Juan Orlando Hernandez ran for Congress and was elected, and he became a member of the National Party of Honduras. The National Party of Honduras is the main conservative party of Honduras. So from 2001 to 2009, Juan Orlando Hernandez was a congressman. And in the year 2009, that is when there was a military coup in Honduras, where left-wing President Manuel Zelaya was ousted from power in a military coup. And so in 2010, the National Party of Honduras returned the complete power of Honduras, and Juan Orlando Hernandez became head of the National Congress. So from 2010 to 2013, he was head of the National Congress, and Juan Orlando Hernandez ran for president in 2013 as President Pepe Lobo Sosa's term was ending. And in 2013, Juan Orlando Hernandez ran against Manuel Zelaya's wife, Xiomara. And Juan Orlando Hernandez took office for the first time in 2014. The next year, in 2015, President Juan Orlando Hernandez had the Constitution of Honduras changed so that he could run for a second term. Now, the reason that's so controversial and even hypocritical is Manuel Zelaya, when he was ousted from power in June 2009, he was being accused by his opponents that he was trying to change the Constitution of Honduras so he could run for a second term. And that was like the whole excuse. He was removed from power, tried to stop him from having a power grab. But then when Juan Orlando Hernandez becomes president, he's able to use the Supreme Court of Honduras in 2015 and changes the Constitution so that he could run for a second term. So then in 2017, Juan Orlando Hernandez ran for a second term for presidency. And that election was very controversial and had a lot of irregularities. During the re-election of Juan Orlando Hernandez in 2017, there were many things that went wrong with the election, and people said the voting counting machines suddenly stopped and then restarted, and originally he was losing in the polls to his opponent, Salvador Nasralla. Many people demanded that there be a recount, but Juan Orlando Hernandez declared himself the winner. And when people protested against his election victory, the protest got pretty violent. And Juan Orlando Hernandez ended up ordering the military police on Honduras to suppress the protesters, and at least 23 people were killed between November 2017 and January 2018. 23 people killed, and many of them were killed by the security forces of Honduras. And shortly after that, later in the year, that's when caravans really started happening from Honduras. The presidency of Juan Orlando Hernandez has been completely surrounded by corruption and scandals his entire time in office. So many political assassinations have occurred under the presidency of Juan Orlando Hernandez, including the assassination of Berta Cáceres in 2016. And then there was the arrest in 2018 of his younger brother, Tony Hernandez, who was arrested in Miami, Florida in 2018 by the DEA, and I did a separate video on him, an earlier video on him, about him and his conviction and trial, and he's in jail now. As a result of the trial and conviction of Tony Hernandez, US Federal Prosecutors have now named Juan Orlando Hernandez as a co-conspirator. There have been at least 3 different investigations against Juan Orlando Hernandez. For example, in 2013, there was DEA investigations against him that he was taking drug money for his political campaign. Now, a 3rd motion has been filed against Juan Orlando Hernandez. Several news outlets, such as Univision and The Guardian, published a story this month, January 2021, that Juan Orlando Hernandez was quoted as saying he wants to shove the drugs up the noses of the gringos and flood the United States with cocaine, and also that Juan Orlando Hernandez wanted to, fool the DEA and make it look like Honduras was actually working to fight against drugs while continuing to work with drug smugglers. Another accusation from US Federal Prosecutors is that Juan Orlando Hernandez protected cocaine laboratories in his country and took one time a bribe from El Chapo Guzman. In my opinion, Juan Orlando Hernandez is a very dirty politician. He's not really any different than the previous president before him, Pepe Lobo Sosa, or whoever will be the president next. But Juan Orlando Hernandez is a very corrupt and dirty politician. He is widely involved in cocaine trafficking. He is, by all means, our narco-dictator. He is a very murderous leader. His government assassinates anybody who stands up for corruption. Journalists, human rights activists, environmental activists, human rights lawyers, journalists, and so forth are regular victims of the security forces of Honduras. And anybody who protests openly against Juan Orlando Hernandez, they get killed in violent clashes with the security forces of Honduras. And it is really, really sad. The repressive rule of the government of Honduras is a major root cause of why so many caravans are coming from Honduras. Thousands of people are leaving. As I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the video, Honduras, as well as most of Central America, was devastated by 2 back-to-back hurricanes this previous November. Hurricanes Eta and Lota. They have really done so much damage, flooding and landslides to Honduras, Nicaragua, and parts of Guatemala. Honduras was really hurt bad. It's the worst hurricane in the region since Hurricane Mitch in 1998. Along with that, the COVID-19 pandemic has really been bad for Central America. Honduras has been facing a record level of unemployment because the COVID pandemic really shut down lots of businesses. And so now a lot of people are without jobs and without homes. And the government of Honduras continue to mismanage their country. What's really also bad, let's talk about the U.S. involvement in all this. The United States is the biggest supplier of foreign aid to the government of Honduras. And the United States military is always helping the government of Honduras with U.S. military advisors and U.S. weapons. And it's all used for bad. The United States has been working with Juan Orlando Hernandez, trying to consider him an ally. And it's been disastrous. He has not helped reducing immigration coming from Honduras. He has not helped reduce drug trafficking. He is himself involved in drug trafficking. He gives political protection to drug traffickers who give him enough money. And his violent repression and mismanagement of the country continues to result in many more Hondurans leaving Honduras. Now, more people in the United States need to be made aware of this. I am hoping that more Americans will know who Juan Orlando Hernandez is, and they should be demanding, like I am, that the United States should stop supporting leaders like him in Honduras. The United States needs to stop giving military aid to Honduras. We need to stop giving foreign aid to a terrible government like that. It's not helping anything. In conclusion, I hope Juan Orlando Hernandez will finally face justice, just like his younger brother Tony has. But the problem is much bigger than just Juan Orlando Hernandez. It's bigger than just his party, the National Party of Honduras. It's the entire system. But I do hope Juan Orlando Hernandez will face justice and he will go to trial for his crimes, his corruption. But the whole Honduran system needs a complete reform. I don't know what's going to happen, but as long as Honduras continues to be the way it is, illegal immigration from that country will continue, sadly. I hope everybody has learned from this video and that they will try to learn more than beyond what I've said. Alright, everybody, please be informed and learn.